When I complete reading the question, you'll have 2 minutes to respond. And we'll start with you. All right. It's a long one. The state is working a backlog of Medicaid applications. What can the legislature do, if anything, to cut down on the backlog or ensure another one doesn't develop in the future?
That is a long question. Thank you for it. I first of all don't think there needs to be that backlog, and that backlog started years ago when we moved to CanCare. And we privatized with 3 companies our health insurance for our neediest people. I know they're working with a company right now to computerize all this backlog. One thing that would have helped the process in the past, we can only move forward though, we could start accepting Medicaid money, which would help hire staff and enable that backlog to be worked away in a timely fashion. It is a shame when people have to wait or be denied medical care.
Thank you. Ms. Huntsman. Round of applause, please. I think we're wearing them out. Okay. All right, sir. I'll draw a question for you. Mr. Hudson will answer. And your question is this. What's the proper relationship between the legislature and the judicial branch?
Thank you for the question. You know, our founding fathers set up a pretty smart system. Separation of powers, checks and balances. I believe that they should all be equal. To usurp the powers of the Supreme Court, the judicial branch, it goes against the American way of life, really. I mean, why even have a Supreme Court, judicial branch, if the legislatures can usurp their powers? So, in my opinion, you have to keep them separate, you have to keep them equal.
Thank you. We are moving on to the white questions, which contain 1, maybe 2, and maybe even a hyphenated word. And we'll start with you and your 1 word, 2 words, docking building. 30 seconds.
I am a home economics or family and consumer science teacher. I taught my students over 36 years, do not buy someone else a building, buy yourself a building and buy yourself a home. It is going to be cost effective in the long run. So here we are as a state, we own our building, we have not done the maintenance for a variety of reasons, and now we want to demolish that building and start paying rent. That does not make fiscal sense to me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Hutchison. LLC.
Just happen to have one of those. There are over 330,000 businesses that are not paying state income tax due to the Kansas State Income Tax Act of 2012. That's about $650 million that we are losing out on. The governor in his plan to let have more business. I think you got my point.
Round of applause for our candidates. Again, when you think about it, our candidates have essentially 4.5 minutes to speak tonight, so this is an opportunity afterwards if you want to talk more. All right. Oh, what am I doing? This is your agenda. That's right. So, following suit, you have 2 minutes, and I'll be quiet and enjoy. The floor is yours.
It's a great turnout tonight. Thank you for coming out. Actually, there's been a great excitement in the 2016 election from the federal level on down to the state, and that has brought about primaries, which we haven't seen in some of our parties for quite a while. So that's really an exciting thing to have happen, and thank you for participating in that excitement. I've had a stellar professional career in education for 36 years. I did own a business, a part owner for 3 years, in the middle of my teaching career, and I found out I really missed teaching, and we sold it, and I went back into the classroom. I've been retired since 2008, and I just couldn't sit still, and so I've been active in advocating for public schools, both the employees and the children that attend them. I started attending CAPERS meetings, and that's when I realized a lot of this stuff that was happening under our current governor, and I've been advocating for people since then. I have been elected president of my professional organization. The KNEA retired members have elected me their president for the 2 years. I've always been a leader in my professional association. I've done bargaining and negotiating, and that brings a great set of skills to the table at the State House, and that's one thing that I would carry with me as I go there. Both my husband and I have been union members most of our married life. He with the electrical workers, he retired from Jeffries Energy Center, and me with KNEA. I am clearly the Democrat to be on the ballot for the general election. Please vote Chris Huntsman on August 2nd or before. Thank you.
Russ, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. It appears that people currently at the Capitol are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and they're bankrupting our state. Across the board, they are stealing from KDOT, CAPERS, Department of Aging, Department of Children. They've implemented, well, I'll just quote a Republican, Tom Moxley from Council Grove, who's on his way out after spending 10 years, indicated that, number one, Ray Merrick, the Senate Majority Leader, had violated 5 House rules in order to pass the Kansas Income Tax Act of 2012. Additionally, he went on to say that the decisions being made in Topeka right now are for the wealthy few. I just can't understand why they would do this if it wasn't their plan. Just doesn't make sense. As far as Medicaid goes, this was a screenshot today from the Kansas Hospital Association. Our state has turned down over federal funds forfeited since January 1st, 2014, $1.3 billion. Kansas Hospital Association. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you turn that money down? So I'm in this race to make a difference for fairness, for change, and hopefully to bring the Kansas Capitol back to the people.